This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins Snake Armor Skeletor, poisoned with power. This version of Skeletor is actually based on a 2-pack from the 2000X series of figures. He came with a Wolf Armor He-Man. With this update, however, they decided to kind of throw him in with the Snake Armor He-Man, since they were putting out the Snakemen at the time and wanted to connect the Skeletor together with it. Because you can never release a series without a He-Man and a Skeletor, which is what got them into trouble the first 2 times around. On the back of the package, we do see the product shots. Of course, this came in the same wave as Tongue Lasher, Hypno, and Roboto mini comics version. Skeletor's cursed snake armor makes him stronger, but mind-controlled by King Hiss. That, of course, was what they did for this variation. I don't know for sure because I don't have the box set that came with the Wolf Armor He-Man and Snake Armor Skeletor, but I think when those came out, they were not actually connected with the Snakemen at all back at the time. So there's that. Let's go ahead and open them up. We, of course, have our little bit of instructions to show us what parts of Skeletor can be removed. We have his mini comic, The Assassin's Aim. Here we have, let's go to the first page. We get an early view of the Talon Fighter, which at this point had still not been produced, but was, I'm assuming, down the line if they're putting it in the mini comic. We have Hypno and Mini Comics Roboto teaming up together and talking to He-Man. Later on, we get to see Skeletor bringing the Snakemen into Snake Mountain as they pretend to be working for Skeletor. But then we have Hypno and Roboto attack. Did they just... Looks like they popped out of the weird little ball that was dropped. Okay. So then we get to see Tongue Lasher attacking Hypno. And then Skeletor and him get stuck together. Honestly, this is kind of a silly comic. And it doesn't seem like they really played up too much with the hypnotism, to be honest with you. And somehow the tongue that was removed from Tongue Lasher just keeps growing and growing into some kind of monster. That's absolutely disgusting. What's also interesting is that they actually show Skeletor in here with these comics with his power sword. And somehow He-Man ends up being there with the Talon Fighter, even though he was apparently not originally in the Talon Fighter. And once again, everything is kind of a mess with the mini comics. So, when they decided to bring the Rulers of the Sun into the Masters of the Universe line, they tended to focus the comics more on the Rulers of the Sun characters rather than the Masters of the Universe characters. Which is why you have Hypno taking such a big lead in this comic. Now we bring us to our Skeletor. So Skeletor comes with a couple new accessories. A shield, which actually looks fairly cool and is designed to be held in the hand and clipped on. I only mention this because we had a couple of the other shields that aren't designed that way. Of course, he doesn't have the hand that's really designed to grip it, so but at least it still kind of fits in there somewhat. And then he comes with quite possibly the dumbest looking sword ever created. It's also very hollow. At the very least, it would have been nice if they'd like filled this in. But I don't quite see the point of this one. Like, it doesn't even look like it's snake themed, even though this is supposed to be the whole snake armor thing with Skeletor. But that we go. Skeletor has a brand new head sculpt. Uh, Definitely based on the 2000 series head. And it almost looks like, at first when you look at this, it almost seems like maybe they had just created a helmet to go over his head. But once you start kind of like looking at it, you can see on the side here that it is a whole new head sculpt. I think it would have been cool if it had been just a sculpted head, though. Or sculpted helmet to go over his head. His snake armor is also new. They are going to be reusing this, it looks like, for one of the new Snakemen characters that's going to be a Walmart exclusive and probably nearly impossible to get your hands on because Walmart exclusives are an entirely big mess to get. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different parts for Skeletor here. As mentioned before, he's got a new piece of armor. Pop the head off. Sadly, there we go. You can stick his head up on the fence. The armor itself kind of has a Cobra look to it, being that, you got the hood for the shoulder pauldrons. The fangs here, which I kind of like the way they attach the straps here to the fangs. So, it does actually look like it is strapped to them. And who knows, maybe this theoretically actually is the skin and head of a giant snake that King Hiss used to create the armor. Because in this story arc that they're trying to tell from the back of the box is that King Hiss offers the snake armor to Skeletor to give him more power, but it also puts him under King Hiss's mind control. The body comes off. One thing to note too, with the 2000X style of the Masters of the Universe Skeletors, is that they come in a much darker, not quite so bright blue, which I actually do prefer. Arms come off. I do wish, though, I do kind of prefer the original Skeletor's kind of like finned arms, though, compared to the bracers that they do on all the other ones. And Skeletor's hand, of course, has the more clawed aspect to it, which is honestly pretty cool, though. I still wish they would just give us, if they want to give us the clawed hands, that's cool, but I wish they'd give us gripping hands for both, too. He's got a new skirt piece. This came with every 2000X version of Skeletor, and it's a little bit more of a different detail than the previous Skeletors. And of course, he's got the 2000 lower legs, boots, as it may. And of course, his legs come off. And I have no idea what that gunk is there. Some excess glue, it looks like. Skeletor, of course, has the standard Masters of the Universe articulation. Ball joint in the head. The arms can move up and down and all around. We have a single hinge joint here for the elbow. We can spin the wrist, and it has the in and out hinge on as well. Waist swivel. Legs can go up about that far, go back about that far. Single jointed knee, boot cut, and some hinge and swivel around on the ankle. Whoops. Actually, go ahead and get him dressed up again. Oh dear. Back of the snake armor looks pretty cool too. Almost, again, we got kind of like that look of the body of the snake and then the hood here. The strap designs haven't really changed since the 80s, although they do seem to be more heavy duty and a less breakable plastic than the old vintage figures had. Give Skeletor back his stupid looking sword. Take this armor, Skeletor, and use it to defeat He-Man. You are now more powerful than before. Yes, my master, hiss. Skeletor, stop this. Even if you are stronger, is it really worth it to be a mind-controlled slave to King Hiss? Your defeat is worth anything, He-Man. Did you really think that dumb-looking sword could really defeat my power sword? No! Shut up. Anyway, overall, this Skeletor is actually a really nice looking figure. I am glad they kind of started going for the more muted, darker colors on a lot of the Masters of the Universe Origins figures. The brighter colors were just honestly kind of annoying on a lot of them, and with the lack of skin tone match, unfortunately, it also means that I can't swap out the arms to get the nice looking reptilian fins that the other Skeletor has. But I hope you enjoyed this little quick review on the Snake Armor Skeletor. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.